Okay. So far we have been looking into how to realize the convolution encoded bits by making use of simple shift register and then the few modular 2 adders. So you have been solving at least 2 problems we have solved so far, where we have been able to identify what is the length of the output that I am going to get when I have an n, k, m convolution encoder. So in this case we have certain parameters called as code efficiency or the rate efficiency, where it is given by k by n. So every bit that you are going to, if at all k is equal to 1 and n is equal to 3 and m is equal to 2, I am just taking an example over here. In this case, for every 1 bit that is entering into the shift register is going to generate a 3-bit output, which is a convolution encoded output. So as we said, this method of convolution encoding process is very efficient in terms of error correction process. It is because of the reason that this involves shift register and the digital circuitry, logical circuitry like modular 2 adder, which the combination of which will happen to be a simple, what you can call it as a counter. So whenever you are studying about the ring counter or any counter of your choice, when you are designing, you are simply going to make use of a shift register along with the logical operators or logical operations like modular 2 adder or OR operation or XOR operation, so on and so forth. So why this is easier is because of the reason that we already know we have a well established concept and theory which is based on the digital circuitry, where we are going to analyze the digital sequential circuits by making use of state diagrams. So we can predict the output at a particular stage when the transition happens. When your input is provided in one way, we are able to predict the output very exactly. So that is the reason why the state diagram plays a very significant role when we are trying to decode. So even in the decoding process, if you know what is the next incoming bit, you can easily predict what could be the output of that particular code word, or what is exactly that code word that was transmitted. Thereby we can easily go back, trace back, and then we can rectify the error that is caused during the transmission. So having said that, now we shall see how the state diagram and the code trees are generated. Ready? So we are going to take a particular example over here. I have written a diagram already for the convolution encoder. Please take down this problem. Consider the binary convolution encoder shown in the figure. Consider the binary convolution encoder shown in the figure. Full stop. Draw the state table. Draw the state table, comma, state transition table, comma, state diagram, state table, comma, state transition table, comma, state diagram, and the corresponding code theory, corresponding code tree. Full stop. Using the code tree, comma, find the encoded sequence. Find the encoded sequence for the message. Find the encoded sequence for the message 10111. 10111. Full stop. Verify the output sequence so obtained using transform domain approach. So this also we have not seen so far. This also we are going to see it today. So verify the output sequence so obtained using the transform domain approach. Please take down this diagram. We shall start with the first part of your question, which is to draw a state table. Please note down this diagram. Once you are done, do let me know. Done? There are two flip-flops with two modular modulo 2 adders. The flip-flop the modulo 2 adder in the top has the connectivity to input, output of first flip-flop and output of second flip-flop. Coming to the second modulo 2 adder, the bottom adder, it is taking the input bit as well as the output from the flip-flop 2. And the outputs are C superfix 1 and C superfix 2. Okay, so we are going to do the state table now. So first we shall try to understand what is meant by the state table. So what do we mean by state table here is whatever the combinations of the bits that could be present within the shift register, that is what we call it as state of that particular sequential circuit. So what does that mean? If there are 3 memory elements, I am taking an example over here. If there are 3 memory elements, then the 3 elements will have a combination. Yeah, the 3 flip-flops or 3 register or 3 flip-flops in the shift register can store at least 2 raised to 3, or possibly it might come across at least 2 raised to 3 possible combinations, valid combinations. You can see over here, that means from all 0 combination to all 1's combination, you will have all possible entries that might come into this shift register. That means a state of a particular sequential in this convolution encoder, the state is obtained by the number of possible combinations that can come and sit inside this shift register. So that is dependent on this number of states. Number of possible states is depends on number of memory elements. That means in this case, how many memory elements are here? How many are there? Yes?
2,
How many memory elements are there?
2.
There are 2 memory elements in this case for this particular example. So 2 memory elements means the number of possible combinations that can sit within this flip-flops are at least 2 raised to 2, which means there are 4 states possible. Which are those 4 possible states? Either 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. These are the 4 possible states. So corresponding to these states, we are going to name them accordingly to address the states. Okay. So how do we name this? First we will tabulate it. We are going to write the state's name at the top and the corresponding binary description, we are going to write it over here. You can also call it as binary representation or binary description, whatever it is. I am going to name S0 as, 0, 0 as S0, 0, 1 as S1, 1, 0 combination as S2, and S3 would be 1, 1. So this is what we call it as state table. State table. If in case of a problem, if there are 3 flip-flops, then there will be totally 8 number of possible combinations over here. In such cases, you will have to extend this table from S0 to S7. S0 to S7. Is this clear? Is this fine? Please say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So we will consider the next part now. Now we will go to the second part of your problem, which is the state transition table. Okay. So please make a note of this. I am going to erase this one because I need more space over here. Coming to the second we are going to discuss about state transition table. So what do you mean by state transition table? We are going to take the account of, if at all, when initial stage will always be 0, 0. If at all the next bit that is coming in is 1, I need to know what is the impact of that particular input bit has on the shift register, as well as the effect that it has with respect to the output C1 and C superfix 1 and C superfix 2, that is code bit C1 and code bit C2. That is what we are trying to tabulate over here. For that, we will need the expression that we have just seen yesterday, that is C1 is equal to, we can write this as DL minus I into Gi of 1. We are going to write it like this now. So this I am going to expand it, the discrete convolution expression, I am going to expand it and then write it as, this will be DL into G1 of 1 plus DL minus 1 into G2 of 1. There are only, there will be one more possible. This is DL minus 2, G3 of 1. There are 3 nodes over here. Depending on the number of nodes in this connections, so many G's will appear. G1, G2, G3. Similarly, the code expression, the code vector expression for the bottom adder would be DL into G1 of 2 plus DL minus 1 into G2 of 2 plus DL minus 2 into G3 of 2. So if you look at over here, let me write G1 here in vector form and G2 over here. G1 is all the node points are taken into consideration to add, so therefore it is 1, 1, 1. Coming to G2, you can see over here, it is considering input and it is not considering the middle one, but it is considering the output of the flip-flop 2. So it is 1, 0, 1. So having said that, the C1 expression can be written as DL plus DL minus 1 plus DL minus 2. This is for the top adder. C of 2 can be written as DL plus DL minus 2. These are the two expressions for generating the code bits at different time instances, which is determined by your L. Okay, so this is done, right? So here we are not worrying about anything, any aspect like what would be the message sequence, what would be the other stuff. We are not trying to evaluate even EL. Whatever we are writing now, it is with a general sense, with the general combination technique. We are trying to generalize the operations that could occur in this convolution encoder. So what we will do, now we are going to write the state transition table. We are going to write. So the transition table will involve the present state of the circuit in the first column with its binary representation. I am writing it in short over here. You can write this as binary description or binary representation. The input bit that is possibly given into the flip-flop, that I am writing it over here. When I give the input, what will be the state of the flip-flop, that I am going to write it next. Okay, and its binary representation. So I don't know whether you can see this. Are you able to see? This is binary. Okay, let me erase this diagram and then I will write using the entire board so that it will be visible for you people. I hope you have written down the equations and all. I will use the entire board to write this so that it will be visible. So the first column that I am going to write here is present state. Then corresponding to the present state, it's binary representation. Then we will have input. Then after giving the input, how the state of the flip-flop will change, and its binary representation that I am going to write. Next, I am going to mention what will be the data bits at time instance L minus 1 and L minus 2, because these are the three which are contributing for the output, and I am also going to write the corresponding output C1, bit C1 and C2. Okay, so this is what I am going to tabulate. So please observe this carefully so that you will be able to understand. If you are not understanding at any point of time, you can ask me, you can stop me over there and then we can discuss. Yeah, so we shall start off with the initial state, where the flip-flops are in their initial state, where all the entries inside the flip-flop are flushed out and they are zeros currently. So when I start off with, I'll be in the state S0, because its binary description is 0, 0. The content within the flip-flop is 0, 0. Now I have erased the diagram. Let me write a short diagram over here for my reference, because I don't know whether you people are going to help me or not. I will write the diagram for my reference. C1. Then C2. Okay, so assume that the two possible inputs that can appear here is, currently it is in 0, 0 state. Now there are two possibilities that the input can appear. So the input can either be a 1 or a 0. So the two possibilities are 0 and a 1. If at all the next input bit is also a 0, then what will happen to the state of the flip-flops? This bit gets flushed out, or it comes out of the shift register. This comes and sits in the first position. So this gets pushed to the right. What will happen to the next state? What could be the next state? Let me write the binary representation first, then I'll write the symbol representation for that. If the next input is also 0, 0, what will be the binary representation? What will be the content in the shift register? Yes?
0.
It will be 0, 0. It will remain 0, 0. Right? And the name of this 0, 0 is S0. So it will remain in the S0 itself. Assume that you have 1, the input, the next input bit is 1. Currently it is in 0, 0 state, and you are giving an input called as 1. So this gets flushed out, and your flip-flop will have the content 1, 0. So this 1, 0 corresponds to what state? 1, 0 corresponds to which state? What did we address this as?
S2.
S2.
There is a small change. Okay, we have written it as S2, right? Yeah, okay, I guess there is no problem with that. Okay, fine. S2. There will be slight change from the textbook and as well as my representation. You could name it in any way, no problem. The data bits here, if you consider, whenever there is 0, 0, you can look at the DL, it is 0. The previous two conditions, two previous outputs are also 0, 0. The corresponding C1 and C2 will also be 0, 0. If you come to this case, DL is 1. That is, at that particular instance, it is 1. And the output of the flip-flop 1 and flip-flop 2 are 0, 0. The corresponding C1 and C2, since it is dependent on the bit DL, therefore the output is 1, 1. For this you need to observe the circuit diagram and you'll be able to understand. So this is it with respect to S0. Now I'll assume that the present state is S1, which is 0, 1. Okay, what if it is 0, 1? In that case, the same two inputs I will have. Next bit could be either a 0 or a 1. So if I put a 0 to this case, what will happen? What will be the next state?
S0.
Yes, not. If I give 1,
S3.
S2.
hmm?
S2.
Yes, 2, correct. Yes, 2. The combination here is 0, 0 and here you will get 1, 0. This gets pushed out. So this will come and sit at the first and then 0. Corresponding to this, the data entry would be. Please look at this carefully. The data entry in this case, whenever I give 0 as an input, this one would be 0. Okay? And the previous two existing bits are 0 and 1. Write the corresponding output. Since in DL2 I have DL minus 2 I have 1, since both the outputs depends on DL minus 2, the output will be 1, 1. Coming to 1, 0, see here, the current bit is that you are giving is 1 and the previous two bits are 0, 1. Now you tell me what are the possible outputs. DL plus DL minus 1 plus DL minus 2.
0, 0.
For the first output, 0. And then for the second one, this plus this, so it is 0. This is for the case of the state S1. Coming to the state S2, which is 1, 0. Okay. Here also the possible two inputs are 0 and 1. If I give a 0, to which state it will get? The transition will happen to 0, 1, and if I give a 1, it will have the transition to 1, 1. So this corresponds to the state S1 and this corresponds to the state S3. Look at this. DL is 0, the previous two bits are 1, 0. What will be the output? This is 1 and this is 0. This case, the current bit is 1 and the previous two bits are 1, 0. If you add, you are going to get a 0 and a 1. Last state, S3, it is 1, 1, 0 and 1. The transition will happen to 0, 1, 1, 1 again. So this corresponds to the state S1 again and this corresponds to the state S3. And the same here also, it is 0, 1, 1, for which we will have 0 and a 1, right? The next one is 111. For the 111 case, this one would be 1 and this one would be 0. This is the state transition table. State transition table. Do you have any doubts over here? This completes the state transition table. We have started with certain states over here. We have predicted the possible, because it's a binary system, we know the input, either it is a 0 or a 1. So once we know the zeros and ones, we can predict what could be the next state we might get, because we are the one who have assigned this. So this I can predict. Once I know this, I can write the contents within the shift registers easily. And if I know the contents of the shift register, writing the output is not that big of a deal. Understood? Any doubts so far? Please say yes or no. I hope there is no doubt. Let me go to the state diagram now. Shall we go to the state diagram? So what I'll do, I'll write it in this space. State diagram. So as you know, the state diagrams are always written with respect to the transition, and we are going to represent each one of the state as one particular, in a circle we are going to name it, something like this. Assume that this is S0, S1, S2, S3. So how to write the state diagram over here? We have to take into consideration of the transition that can happen. So if at all the S0, the input is given as 0, then if at all the input is 0, I'll write it over here at the top. You can see, if you can see over here. If the input is 0, we are going to write it like this. If the input is 0, then it will have the transition to the same state S0 with the output 0, 0. With the output 0, 0. If the input is 1, then the transition happens to S2 with the output 1, 1. Okay? Coming to the state S1, if at all the input is 0, then it goes to S0 with the output, see over here, with the output 1, 1. If at all the input is 1, then the transition will happen to S2. If the input is 1, the transition will happen to S2 with the output 0, 0. Okay? Then coming to S2, if the input is 0, then the transition will happen to S1 with the output 1, 0. This is the transition. If the input is 1, it will go to S3 with the output 0, 1. Then coming to S3, if the input is 0, then it will go to S1 with the output 0, 1. And if the input is S3, if the input is 1, it will have the transition to the same state with the output 1, 0. With the output 1, 0. So this is how you get the state diagram. Actually, I have taken the case where S1 is 0, 1. If you take S2 as 0, 1, then you will get, the diagram would be much more proper. Okay, because I have taken the state addressing little bit. Yeah, I have interchanged S1 and S2. You are seeing a diagram something like that. But if you interchange the representation of S1 to be 1, 0, S1 you give the binary description as 1, 0, and S2 you give the binary description as 0, 1, then it will look slightly different. The diagram will look slightly different. But whatever it is, as per the table, you can write this diagram. I hope you have understood. Do you have any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? Can we go to the code tree? No response. inputs are 0 and 1. So depending on the input that you're going to give, the transition is going to happen. So now we are going to write what is called as code tree. Till now what we did, whatever the diagram and whatever the analysis that we did was depending on the entry that we have seen into the shift register or the flip-flop. So depending on the flip-flop entries, we have been writing the state diagram and state transition table. Now we are going to take into consideration of the output code words, as in how we are going to get the code words, and we are going to write a tree sort of a thing in order to know how in order to try to locate the output bits for the sequence that is being provided to us. So in the problem itself, they have given us the data sequence 10111 and they have asked us to find the code word for that particular message sequence. So how to do that we shall see now. In order to write the tree, we make use of node and branches. So what is this node and branches is? Every node will signify a state, the current state or the present state, and the branch will give us the idea about how the input that is provided to that particular present state, and we are going to write on each branch the output that is so obtained, the code word output that is so obtained, we are going to write upon the branch. So how do we know the input? The branch corresponds to which input is always the upper transition or the transition. If I am writing in the code tree the line like this to the top, then it corresponds to the input 0. If I am writing the line below, then it corresponds to the input 1. So this is the convention that we are going to use. Now I am going to write the code tree starting with S0 as my present state. Okay, that means usually we are going to consider the all zero state as the initial state of any shift register. For that reason, I am going to start off with the 0-0 combination. As I said, I am going to represent the initial state as S0, and this is what we call it as a node. This is the S0 node. Okay, so the transition in the upper direction and the transition in the lower direction will represent the input that I am trying to provide to the system. Okay, so the transition in the upper direction will signify a 0, transition in the lower direction will give me a input called as 1. Now observe carefully. When I give a 0 input, this gets the transition and sits at again S0. Okay, whenever I give the input as 1 for this goes and sits with the second node or the next state called as, which is the next state once I give the input as 1.
2. It's 2.
I have erased the table, please help me out over here.
Yes, 2.
You have written the table, for God's sake. Which is the state?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
S2. So write it over here. Once we have done with this is S0, this is S2. The outputs that I am going to get when the transition happens to the same S0, the output, the code vector output is 0, 0. And here in this case, the code vector output is 1, 1. Okay. Next, again the two possibilities here are the transition, the next input could be 0 and a 1. Again it will go to S0 or S2 state with the outputs 0, 0, 1, 1. Coming to this, here also the possible two inputs are 0 and a 1. Currently I am present in the state called as S2. So if I give a input called as 0, to which state it will go to? From S2, if the input is 0, what is the next state?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one?
Yes, one, ma'am.
Yes, one. input is 1, it is S3.
S3.
Correct. So please observe here, this output has got nothing to do with your states. Please be careful while understanding this. So once you do the transition from S2, if the input is given as S0, then the state that you are going to obtain is S1, S3. Right? The output is 1, 0. If the transition is happening such that from S2 it is going to S3, then the corresponding output is 0, 1. Whatever the branch, upon the branch that I am writing, the binary representation, it indicates the output bits. Please do not get confused. Okay? It is not the state combination, it is the output combination. So please remember this. Again here also I can split. It is giving me the output 0, 0 and going to the state S0 and this is S1. Similarly I am going to split it here also. From S2 I'll be going to S1 and S3. So this is S2. Yeah. So S1 and S3 from S2. So the outputs are 1, 0, 0, 1. From S1, again if you give input 0 and a 1, to which state will you go to? From S1, if you give a 0 as an input, to which state would you go?
S0.
Okay. If I give 1,
S1. S2.
S2, correct. So this will go to S0 or S2. Again from S3, if you are going to do the transition, the possibles are 0 and 1. If the next state transition, if I am giving 0 as the input, it will go to S1 or it will remain in the S3. Okay, the output corresponding to this S1, if the next stage is S0, then the output is 1, 1. If currently the present state is S1 and if the input is 1, then the output corresponding to that is 0, 0. If the present state is S3 and it is getting the transition to S1, then the output is 0, 1. If at all for present state being S3 and input is 1, the output that I am going to get is 1, 0. So like this, you can go on writing the code tree. You can expand this. From S0 again you go to S0, S2 with 0, 0 and 1, 1 as the output. From S2 you can split again. You can go to S1 and S3 with the outputs 1, 0 and 0, 1. And from S1 you can split again, you can go to S0 and S2 with the outputs 1, 1, 0, 0. From S3 you can go to again S1 and S3 with the outputs 0, 1, 1, 0. So like this you can go on extending this. So all these things, whatever we are writing is that we are not taking into consideration what is the input sequence. So what you need to do in order to trace the output sequence for the given message sequences, if at all if it is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, assume here the data that I am entering is 1, 0, 1, 1. So what you need to do, you need to trace appropriately. If it is 1, you need to come down. I will be reaching S2. The next bit is 0, so go in the upper channel, I will reach S1. From here you go to 1 again, you will get S2. Again I need to split this S2. So let me split this S2. From S2 I can go to either S1 or S3 with the outputs 1, 0, 0, 1. Here also again, so this is transition 0 for the input 0. This is a transition for the input, 1. This is transition for the input 1, transition for the input 0, the output the transition for the input 0, transition for the input 1. Again the transition for input 1 will get me to the state S3. Again with the last one I need to split this again. Yeah, from S3 I can go to either S1 or S3 with the output 0, 1 and 1, 0. So I will go. So So this is my final destination because I have traversed for all message combinations, that is 10111. So after this, you will not seize it over here. Rather, what is going to actually happen is you cannot seize for the data sequence here itself. Now the data is, this last bit is currently present in the first flip-flop. You need to wait till it gets flushed out, right? So please remember that unless you finally finish off with come back to yes not position, the transition keeps on happening. Okay, so to know that, you have an idea that L plus M should be the number of states that, number of outputs that you're going to get. Now L is 5 and the number of memory elements is equal to 2. We have only traversed for 5 combinations, another 2 combinations that we need to appear, that is from S3 I can go to S1 and S3 with the outputs 0, 1 and 1, 0. Now what you will take is, there is no further data sequence, therefore you are going to follow 0 and then you will go to the upper channel. From S1, again you are going to split, and then from S1 you can go to actually S0 or S2 with the outputs 1, 1 and 0, 0. In this case also the input that you are going to give is 0, therefore you are going to follow the upper channel with the input 0. So finally we should enter the S0 position at the end of the complete sequence. So the total output code vector, the C, which I am going to get is, you see whatever the markings that we have done on the branches and write it in a sequence. It is 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. This is the output sequence or the code vector sequence, convolution coded output sequence for the given data bits, that is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Yes, any doubts so far? Do you have any doubts, guys? Understood why we should not stop over here? This seizes the data bits, but this one currently which is present at the input location, that is dot, you can see at the input whatever the junction we had, this was the flip-flop and this was the second flip-flop. This one is actually present over here. Now it needs to get flushed out from the shift register. So therefore you are going to push this into the flip-flop and you are currently naming this as 0 and this is also 0. Okay, then what you are going to do, you are going to push this within 0 and this you are going to put it as 1. So the output at this point it will be equal to 1 and this will be 0. So for this particular case, for every case, once your data sequence ceases to exist, you need to flush out that particular bit until and unless it gets fully processed. So we have seen in the first example itself, when we had figured out how this convolution is going to happen, we had extended it to certain extra number of clock cycles. That is because of the reason that the convolution will continue to happen even while the overlapping period is slightly on the tail end of your signal. So that trailing period, it depends on the length of the sequence. Now you can see here, the length of your shift register is actually smaller than the length of your data sequence. The data sequence, once you enter any bit, it will remain there for at least 2 clock cycles because it has 2 memory elements. If there was 3 memory elements, then once the data enters into the shift register, it will remain there at least 3 clock cycles, so on and so forth. So depending on that case, once this 1 appears, it should remain for another 2 clock cycles for it to have its similar impact as other data bits that was previously coded. So for this reason, you have to take 2 more. If there was 3 memory elements, after the final bit, you are going to take 3 more transitions with all zeros as the inputs and then you are going to write the sequence. Please keep this in mind. So So this is it with respect to state diagram, state transition table, state transition table, state diagram, as well as the code tree. So code tree, whatever the branch names that we are writing it over here, it is the output, it is not the state. The states are represented at the nodes only. Whatever the values that we are writing on the branch lines, those are the code outputs. The code outputs. So please keep this much in your mind. We have to verify this. Output using the time domain representation or the transfer domain representation that we will do in the next class, or I am going to post a video. Please look through that. Okay, which is through polynomial representation. So we will stop it over here.